All right, this is Dr. Jenkins, and I'm going to walk you through how to use Hudson Valley Community College website to get to the library online and to search for a peer-reviewed article for your abstract assignment. Okay, buckle your seatbelts, here we go. So here I've got an iPad, so it may look a little bit different if you're using a phone or a laptop or a desktop. One way that you can get to the library's webpage is if you click on that menu thing, right, the little lines, and then I click on Student Services. If I scroll down under Student Services, you will see Library. Or you could just search Library into the search bar. Once you get to the library's site, it's kind of stupid because you have to click on Library again. So you can see here, I'm going to click on Find Sources from the Dwight Marvin Library. Right there in the middle. Did you see that? So it's right here in the middle. Find Sources from the Dwight Marvin Library. So it's going to take you to another screen. At some point, you may have to input your username and password. And of course, that would just be your username is your first initial dash last name, the same that you would use for your email. And the password would be the same as what you use for your email. All right, once you get to the library's webpage, in the center of the screen, we're going to see Database Finder. Right there in the middle, Database Finder. Then you have to click it again. This seems to be a theme, doesn't it? So I click on Database Finder, and then I have to click on it again right below it, Database Finder. So I just had to, right below it, you have to click on it again. So I just clicked on Database Finder. Okay. So this is going to give you a list of all of the databases that our library has. You're going to have to pick a database that is appropriate. So for example, Albany Business Review, that is not going to be an appropriate one to find articles related to the cardiovascular system. Let me tell you some of the databases that I would recommend. So I'm going to go to M. One of the ones I recommend is Medline with full text. So you could use Medline with full text. There's so many. You could go to the C, and if I scroll down a little bit, CINAHL. Right here, it's the third one down, CINAHL Plus with full text. That stands for something like Nursing and Allied Health, but that's a good one. So you could use Medline, or you could use CINAHL. If you are like me and you like athletics or something like that, I can click on the S, and I could use Sport Discus. So if you're interested in heart conditions in athletes or immunity with exercise, you could do Sport Discus. Of course, you could also go to J for Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA. Or you could go to N for New England Journal of Medicine, third one down. Those are the ones that I would pick. I'm going to go to Medline. That's the first one that I chose. Actually, I'm going to go to CINAHL. Sometimes Medline is a pretty high complexity, so CINAHL is a pretty good one. So I'm going to click CINAHL. So see, it's asking me to type in my username and password. I suppose if you look quickly enough, you can get my password, but I've got nothing to hide, my friends. All you're going to see on there is a bunch of anatomy and physiology stuff. Okay. So once you click a database, then you can enter whatever you want into the search bar. Before I do that, I'm going to move down a little bit because I want to make sure that the full text box is checked. I only want it to find articles that they have the full text for. Sometimes they'll link you to an article that they only have access to the introduction or the abstract. You can't write a summary on an abstract. You need to see the whole article. So make sure you click on full text. This is where I was saying in the first video that I wanted you to be specific, right? Don't just put in heart. Put in something specific. So I'm going to put in athlete, because that's what I'm interested in. Heart, hypertrophy. You can look in the textbook for ideas. Sometimes the textbook has little clinical windows or little extras that'll talk about some unique diseases or something. So I'm going to type that in, and then I have the full text clicked, so then I hit search. Oh, so my initial search didn't give me any results, but it gave me things that were close. As you can see, sometimes it's going to give you things that the title is even too long for me to be bothered. Look at this one, number 4, assessment of left ventricular chamber stiffness in athletes. That seems nice and simple, and they have the full text. One thing that I'm going to ask you to look at is the date of the article's publication. If I look in the information under the title for number 4 here, it says it was published March 2011, which is just about 10 years ago. Usually, about a 10-year window is what we're looking for. It really depends on your topic. I mean, if you're talking about hard things like this, you know, the technology updates very quickly, so you want to make sure it's within 10 years. If something else that you're researching is really rare, maybe something 15, 20 years ago is still relevant, but try and make it at least within 10 years old. So if I want to look at this, I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to give me a little intro to what the article is about. So here's the abstract, and I can kind of read through that to get an idea. If I think I like it, then where did it say? Well, let me go back then, because if I like it, I can click on PDF full text. And there it is. This article is 13 pages, which might sound like a lot, but I'm guessing that many pages are references, so it isn't going to be 13 pages of all writing. So you can read through it. This was an actual study, so if I was going to summarize this after I read it, I might have introduction. This article was looking at left ventricular stiffness in athletes. Methods. They looked at 21 male, as it says here, 21 male water polo players, 16 male wrestlers, and 20 male sedentary subjects. Of course, it's always males. You'll notice, by the way, that females are significantly underrepresented. Yeah, so this would actually be a decent size article, because when I get towards the end, look, it's going to have 1, 2, 3 pages of 4 pages there. So this would probably be a reasonable length. The key, though, is being specific in your search. Don't be afraid to do it over and over again, and finding the appropriate article. All right, I'm here if you have any questions, folks. Good luck.